What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. I'm pretty happy. My Niners are back in the Super Bowl. Hopefully, this time, the third time will be the charm. We've lost the last two, so hopefully we get it done. Anyway, I had some time, so I decided let's do a video. Let's not just post it in the dashboard so everybody can check it out. Let's talk about these new DC Multiverse figures that are now up for pre-order. Batgirl, Cassandra Cain, and Rival. These are characters that have been around. One case for a very, very long time, and the second, a really popular, I guess, not even new addition to the Bat family at this point. She's been around a lot longer than I think. And it's kind of wild when you consider Cassandra's been around for a minute, and I'm still like, she's new-ish. But anyway, let's take a look here at all the features and all the good stuff from this McFarlane version of Batgirl. And Target exclusive, part of the gold label line, $22.99. That's their new price point for these figures. I don't love that, but you know, he's done pretty decent in terms of keeping prices affordable for a long time. So I guess now is not the time to complain about that. But you see he's continuing these cloth capes, which is nice. It's good to see them working those into it. I broke down my Cyborg Superman the other day, so kind of feeling like I love to see some wired cape action. I feel like that's something that if you're going to charge a little bit more for your figures, that's something if you wanted to do, you could incorporate that to the figure, and I wouldn't be upset if, say, Batgirl was $25.99 and you could actually pose her cape, because that's really fun. And, you know, it's only something I get to do with my Mayfex figures, so I love to see that incorporated with other lines, even if it meant raising the prices, because, you know, they're going to raise them anyway. May as well get something out of it. You can see this is another example of a pretty small, detailless, not too heavy fabric cape. You can see through it pretty easily. So if you're putting her against a white backdrop, which you probably wouldn't for this character, you would need to worry about. But that's the quick turnaround. I wanted to show you that. For me, my favorite version of Batgirl up to this point has been the DC superheroes version of Batgirl done from the Four Horsemen. I thought they did an excellent job. This is basically kind of giving you that illusion that maybe it's the Huntress underneath this outfit. Spoiler for anyone who did not read No Man's Land. She's got a pretty decent sized batarang. Always liked this figure. I thought they captured her size very well. Love the head sculpt. I thought they did an excellent job with that. So you can see the silhouette of a head there, maybe even in focus, and big utility belt. I thought, you know, this is a case where a figure with a very thin, slender arms and legs that the DC molds actually worked out pretty well. And I really thought this was a good figure. So I know they've done some for other lines, but the DC Classics / DC SH version, definitely my favorite version of Batgirl. And then in comparison with this new McFarlane Toys, I am pretty sure we have seen this mold before with another figure. And again, it's one of those cases where let's see how much reuse I can get out of this. And she seems a little bigger than I would think, especially in the legs, but I guess that's not really a problem. She's got some spikes on the back of her heels, so that's kind of a cool design. It looks neat. Hopefully she'll be able to stand up okay with those ankle balls that I still don't love. But you can see here how kind of flimsy this cape looks. Granted, it's got the nice points on it, so that's a nice cut deal, but I'm really worried that that'll fray, and over time, this cape is going to get a little worse for wear as you pose her around. I do like the grapple gun, so you can see the wire pull line shooting out. I kind of love the way that effect is done, where you can actually see the pew of it. So that's cool. I like her arms. I think they did a pretty decent job on the bat signal itself, the bat logo. Her utility belt's fine. I think it's scaled a little bit better than maybe even the DC superheroes version. But yeah, I think the head sculpt's also nicely done. Good job on that deal. Take a look here at all the accessories she has. She's got the classic card. And I think this time, it's not one of those embarrassing deals, although you can see again, he's not actually matching up the figure with the card art, which is so weird because it's like, this is something you could prevent. You don't need to create a specially designed bat belt, which doesn't work for this character anyway. Just create a unique belt or just the one that she comes with here in the package. She's got the useful stand, and they're really small and not as prominent as some other ones, but they really do assist, I think, pretty well in keeping figures standing up and hitting some interesting poses. So that'll be useful for her. I already talked about the grapple gun. She's got the big, thick batarang, so hopefully it's not cookie sized or big, great cookie size, and won't look just overly large in her hand. But I do like the head sculpt. It's got the stitching on the mask, which I love. The eyes are blacked out. So it's a really cool design. I think they pretty much captured this look well for their lines. I think this is going to be one I'm going to grab, even though I don't really love what they did with the utility belt. Definitely think that's something they could have avoided. And it does look like she's got the big, thick gold plate version of a batarang. Don't love that too much, but I love the head sculpt. I think they did a really good job with that. And the bat logo kind of has that spray painted look that Huntress wore with hers, so you could go either way. It's got the gloves have the detail work on it, but I kind of feel like those are just regular gloves. I don't mind the bat points here, but that's okay. I don't hate that. But man, I really think that she's gonna need a better cape because seeing so much white shining through kind of kills the purpose of having a cape. But anyway, so that's Batgirl. She's $22.99. And since I'm already here, let's go read the bio because we don't actually see them on much of anything else. But let's see here what we've got from McFarlane on that end. And here it goes. Cassandra Cain debuted during the No Man's Land saga. She stalked Earthquake, shattered Gotham City like a solitary silent ghost, enforcing Batman's laws of the fourth Batgirl. Upon officially joining the Batman family, her training was in reading, writing, and social interaction, not combat. When she learned the world's greatest killer, Lady Shiva Wusan, was her mother, Wusa, Cassandra briefly led the League of Assassins before being legally adopted by Bruce Wayne. And I really need to reread No Man's Land because I thought that Huntress was the only Batgirl operating with that hooded, shrouded mask. But maybe later on, it has been way too long, and I really love that story. It's one of my favorite Batman's reads because it went on for such a long time. They had time to develop it, and it didn't feel rushed or drawn out like so many of these modern stories where it's like, can you just end it already? That one, I think, played off a really good amount of time. It was a solid story. So that's Batgirl, and I think they did a pretty decent job with her. Again, gold label means it's almost as comic accurate as Ty wants to take it. So there you go. Then we got Rival next up, and he's a solid looking figure. He is based on this one, the way too tall Jay Garrick figure, which in a vacuum is a really nice figure for the modern age take on Jay Garrick, aka from how he appeared in the button. But you can get a really nice sense of the major problem with this figure. One of them, his costume is so bright. And I don't know if that's a terrible thing for a Golden Age hero, but it's not necessarily the Golden Age design. Note the gloved hands or fingerless gloves and all the detail on the boots. So it's not quite the modern version of him. And he should have some graying temples, which he does not. But otherwise, he's a fine figure on his own. Problem comes, of course, when you start standing him next to Barry Allen and how much taller he is. And this figure is gigantic compared to basically everybody else. I saw pictures of the Alan Scott. I was like, ugh. And Jay Garrick towers over him. It's just one of those things with McFarlane that continues to frustrate me, and those things that I think he could fix. He just doesn't really care about doing so. So for Rival, his whole background is pretty simple. He is somebody who's like, hey, I want to have the powers of the Flash. And it's the same deal. So one thing that really stands out to me that I think is really cool, this is darker colors. And while the Golden Age Flash should have bright colors, this one seems more in line with how his colors should have turned out. So it's a darker cherry red, a little bit darker jean style blue. The boots are a little bit too scarlet, even maroon style color. The boot wings seem like they're gold as opposed to yellow. Below the head sculpt, that's nice and crazy. Looks maniacal, just like a bad guy. He's got that silver helmet with the gold wings again. So I think that almost looks better than the first version as well. So I don't know if I want to try to get this figure and just swap the head sculpt, because I think that's really the only difference. But not a bad figure at all on that end in terms of how he looks compared to what we got before. And we got the lightning bolt, so that's really great. He's got 2 additional hand sculpts. So we've got the open hands, we've got fists, and we've got karate chop and running hands. So that's really good to see. Nice addition in terms of his accessories. And this is labeled Injustice Society, which I don't feel like we've gotten much of anything on that front from McFarlane Toys from the DC Multiverse line. So hopefully he's the first of more to come. Let's take a look at some of these close-up pictures, because I thought those were really nice for him as well. And I thought they really showed off a lot of great design work that they put into this figure. Let's take a look now. There we go. So I thought this was really sharp. I mean, the red really pops. I love this shade of red for him. The teeth, the head sculpt looks really awesome with the lightning coming through his eyes. He just looks crazed. It kind of looks like a better version of some of the Joker head sculpts that we haven't gotten in the past, at least with the nose and mouth and the cracked helmet. So that's a neat original take on that too. That's a nice switch up from the original one. And it just looks nice and crazy. I feel like this posing isn't quite as good as it could be, because you can get some really good deep running stances from this figure. He may be too tall, but he definitely can hit great running poses. You can see how the lightning attaches to his boots, his legs, his arms, kind of wherever you want. And I think that was really sharp. So nice job on this figure. Again, here's that detail on everything. And here's a better look at his accessories. I like these grabbing open hands. I think they make a lot of sense for a speedster. So he's like reaching to grab somebody. That's a nice addition. Something I hope that they throw in with more Flash figures or speedy, quick moving characters, the 4 lightning attachments, the fists, because you need that as well. And the stand is definitely very helpful for these speedsters, because they can hit those poses. They just need to be able to have some center of balance, because they don't necessarily hold that well on their own. But just wanted to give you a sense of what he looked like hitting a good, sharp running pose. He's really, really great at that. The biggest disappointment with this guy is just too freaking tall. But otherwise, a really great figure. So it's happy to see Rival, but I wish they could have nailed that scale better. Gosh, he is so bright. And it's very low lit in here. So I don't even know if you can appreciate just how bright this figure is. But yeah, he's a really good, fun to pose figure. But man, putting Bud to Alan Scott was such a bummer, because it's like, why is he so out of scale? But anyway, this is $22.99 as well. 2 new additions to the DC Multiverse line. Are you interested in grabbing these 2? I think Batgirl's one. And again, if she's not towering over Barry Allen or looking Batman eye to eye, I'll probably grab her, because, like I said, I'm a huge fan of that whole storyline. If she's tall, maybe I'll just say this is the Huntress version and call it a day, because Huntress can be closer to eye with Batman. So what do you guys think? Are you going to grab these figures? You're going to race over, pun intended, to get Rival, or go on the top of the roof to grab your Batgirl figures? I'm going to put the links to these pre-orders from Target right away, so you can grab them if you like from my affiliate Target. Anyway, I'll be back on tomorrow. Lyle's Movie Files with the gang, and another Thursday night, Lyle's Figure Files live. For now, this episode of Lyle's Figure Files has been filed.